In this video, we're going to be discussing some major news in regards to AEW's Owen Hart Cup tournament. We have a big update on that. Billy Gunn also takes some shots at the AEW roster. And interestingly enough, it's kind of similar to what Brock Lesnar is saying about the WWE roster. So maybe altogether, WWE and AEW both have a common problem. And we're going to talk about it. It might be a little bit laid back. I might be reserved. Maybe I might rant. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that I think Billy Gunn and Brock Lesnar are 100% right in how they feel about their respective rosters. If you guys are unaware, Brock Lesnar was on the Pat McAfee show. Fun, personality-driven, cracking jokes, breaking tables. It's a different Brock Lesnar than we've ever seen before, but he said something today that was very interesting, and thankfully, Fightful had actually transcribed this, but you can watch the video, Pat McAfee show. He has all of his full episodes and whatever on YouTube. Brock Lesnar says, "Now I'm the oldest bastard walking the hall. I look at these young kids and I don't know. Someone needs to step up. Get over. Figure out how to put asses in seats and not worry about your next high spot. Figure out how the hell can I be different? How the hell can I make money? That's the business. The young generation thinks that if they go out and do a certain move, they do it over and over. That's not the business. There is a good guy and a bad guy like Holyfield and Tyson. Mega heavyweight, pitting people against each other, storylines. That's what was fun about me coming back this time. The storyline with Roman Reigns and being with Paul Heyman for 15 years. And gosh, Brock Lesnar is absolutely right. I hate to name names, but I like to name names. Ricochet. Talented, fantastic wrestler. Can't really decide right now if it's because he's got handcuffs on him or whatnot, because I seen what he did in Lucha Underground. But at the end of the day, I see Ricochet, and since the time he was in NXT to the time he was in the main roster, all he has been known for in WWE thus far is his wrestling skills. Oh, and by the way, he's not the only one. There is a lot more. A lot more individuals in WWE who are great wrestlers, fantastic wrestlers, but at the end of the day, that's all they're good for. It's something I've talked about a lot in AEW, WWE, Impact, MLW. It doesn't really matter the company. Pro wrestling, in order to appeal to a more mainstream casual audience, I believe, needs to be more storyline driven. I believe characters are a big part of that, but I think you could still have stories being told without necessarily having a character. Which is why I do, to some extent, believe that Ricochet has some sort of handcuffs on him, because I think you can tell stories, but I don't think WWE has tapped into that. And this is not a criticism of WWE and AEW and the wrestling industry as a whole, but it goes to show you how much different the wrestling industry is today versus how it was 20 years ago. And Brock Lesnar is absolutely right. And I actually think with Brock Lesnar, when he makes these comments, I don't know if WWE or AEW or any other wrestling company will ever produce a more mainstream star than The Rock. Or since The Rock. And that is very interesting to me. I don't know if they'll ever do it. I don't know if they can. Because I think the wrestling industry has changed so much. It's one thing to be a good wrestler. It's another thing to be a great character, larger than life type of person. And then also you do need some assistance from the company that you're with to be able to write compelling storytelling. And to be honest, WWE doesn't do that, so it's not really helpful either. But it's interesting because Billy Gunn was on Busted Open Radio. And Billy Gunn had some very interesting stuff. He was asked about young talent utilizing the veterans backstage. And he thinks that they could do a better job of it. In fact, he even says, that's one of the things we have. Some of the, Arn, Dean, Tully, Jerry. You have some of the greatest talent minds in the world that are in the business, and I feel they don't take advantage of it. I feel they need to take more advantage of it. Sometimes I think they are in their own head, and not that they know it all, but they kind of don't want someone to tell them different from what their game plan is. I feel like it needs to be more, and they don't take full advantage of what they have in front of them. And honestly, if that's the case, that's a shame. And that's not just a thing on AEW, but WWE, AEW, Impact, MLW. There are a lot of people who are legends in this business who are still around, and they're working in all of these companies. And when Billy Gunn who, by the way, has a tremendous amount of experience, is noticing that these young people in AEW aren't taking advantage of it. Again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the Lesnar story. The industry that we're in now is completely different from what it was 20 years ago. But I feel like if I was working with some of these individuals, I would want to pick their brain. I would want to figure out how I can learn from them and how I could become better. That is very interesting to me because I think when you look at wrestling in general, guys, wrestling's going to be around forever. But will it ever have the same mainstream success as it once did? And what is it going to take for that to happen? That's the question I'm going to leave you guys all with today. And in our final story of the day, the Owen Hart Cup tournament. As you guys know, this is a very, very big deal for AEW. A men's tournament, a women's tournament. We know the finals will be taking place at AEW Double or Nothing. However, AEW had a very interesting announcement today. UBS Arena tweeted out that the first round matches for the Owen Hart Foundation, the tournament, the Owen Hart Cup, they will be taking place Wednesday, May 11th in Long Island, New York. Again, Dynamite and Rampage, the first matches will take place May 11th. And they'll be at the UBS Arena, which, by the way, AEW was there recently. And it looks like AEW has major success at the UBS Arena. So, now that we know when the first matches are going to take place, which, by the way, it is February. They are selling tickets now. I'm very, very curious to see what this Owen Hart Cup tournament will actually do for AEW. What is it going to become? What is their plan? What are the rules associated with it, if there are any? The prize. How can AEW make this special? We saw how special the King of the Ring was back in the day. Now it's 2022. King of the Ring doesn't really matter. Is the Owen Hart Cup tournament going to be another King of the Ring bust? Or is it going to be something that is very important and special to pro wrestling? How can AEW make it special? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways to make it special, but you have a lot of people on your roster not being used. So me recommending that you use talent from New Japan or Impact, it's kind of hard to recommend that when you have talent that are signed to your company and they're not being used. But I feel like that could also make it special. There's a lot of cool things that come with the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I'm excited about it. Clearly AEW is as well. And the fact that it's going to be first taking place at the UBS Arena is exciting because that's a massive, successful place for AEW. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll keep you updated as more stories come out in pro wrestling.